Welcome everybody to another episode of Beyond the Cinema. My name is Tyler. I'm here with Ethan. We're back on track, back on schedule, talking about movies. So welcome to this week's episode.
Yep. Well, I guess second episode.
Second episode of this week. Today's episode.
We'll be back on a regular schedule next Tuesday. Just
I
been playing a little bit of catch up.
I can walk now, so
which is helpful.
It's better,
especially when going to movies. Next week we will be doing more movie news, and we will likely be doing a review of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
And
possibly Dora. We will see
Lost City
on
of Gold.
Both, because who knows? Apparently, Angry Birds 2 is doing really well.
Apparently, that's really good. So we'll have to
so we're not sure which movie will end up being better, because Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark actually looks pretty good, and Dora does not. But who knows? They could pull a 180 on us. Yeah. So we're gonna watch both. They can pull an Angry Birds 2 on us. But we're gonna watch both, and then we'll get back and kind of figure out which one we want to do, but it'll be one of those two for sure. If not, maybe a little bit of both. But
so swinging into news for this week. So Venom 2. This was talked about, like rumored for a little while, but we got confirmation that Andy Serkis, the king god of motion capture, is going to be directing Venom 2.
You're not real. You were just in my head.
Like, maybe not his first time
Mr. Drake's property back.
Directing a person.
I've never done Why would we do that?
Yeah.
Which was, it's dark. It gets dark, and the CGI is kind of terrifying, but it's still a pretty good movie. So
what was really, I think, a console to me, by console I mean like huge red flag, was the first thing he said when asked about it was, I have a lot of like great things visually in my mind for how I want this movie to look. So his brain's already going to like full motion capture. He's like, yes, let's do it. And so
I mean, that's a strong suit.
We're just gonna get more black ooze just smacking each other.
Yep. Well, one of the oozes will be red this time.
Yeah, that's true. Be a bit more distinguished. But apparently Tom Hardy has helped write a little bit of the script as well. Mm-hmm. And Tom Hardy's a competent film person.
He's apparently being credited as an advisor too.
Okay. So maybe something good, because I mean, Andy Serkis is incredibly good at what
we are Venom.
But other than that, like,
I mean, Woody Harrelson. I love him. So.
Please just get rid of that wig.
That wig is so bad. Just shave his head, dye what's left red.
Okay, then we're good to go.
Yeah. Next up, I'll take this one. The Battle at Big Rock. It did not release with Hobbs and Shaw. And I wanted to walk directly into oncoming traffic afterwards. But I have it on very good authority, and this is a rumor, but I have it on very good authority that it will be coming to a digital release, and it is still officially confirmed to be happening. So not fake news. If you ever thought it was fake, they made toys for it. It's happening. It literally says, as seen in the Battle of Big Rock, in like a little circle on the Allosaurus and Pseudoceratops toys. So it is coming, and it should hopefully be really soon. So what digitally means, I'm not sure about. I get the vibe it's an internet release, so it's going to be just an online short film sort of deal. Do
you think it could be like a Blu-ray thing?
Like that's what my other theory is that it's going to get smacked on one of Universal's upcoming Blu-ray releases.
What would be like a soon Blu-ray release for Universal that's not absolute crap?
I mean, it doesn't have to not be crap. It has to be popular. I'm not sure. Bumblebee's already been released. I don't know if Us is on Blu-ray yet.
I know it's on digital. That might not. That would be kind of a weird one to release it with. Though.
They've got, I'm sure, a slate of movies coming out. And who knows, maybe it will still be Hobbs and Shaw, but it will be the Blu-ray release, which will.
Oh yeah, that could be very possible.
But I do get the vibe it's going to be an internet release, but it is still happening. Some new stuff that came out of it is that there are confirmed to be animatronics present in the short film, to kind of give a little taste, because animatronics were in Fallen Kingdom, but in a little bit short supply, apparently because of some of the executive level stuff with like Universal. They were a little controlling about them. They wanted to replace most of them with CGI, and Colin Trevorrow and J.A. Bayona kind of had to fight for what they got. And we still got a good amount of screen time from them, but they want to go back into more of what the animatronics were in Jurassic Park, where there's like the heads and the full bodies and stuff, and apparently Battle of Big Rock is supposed to follow that vein. So
yeah, that'll be interesting because we haven't really had anything like that on a digital release before, just where like on YouTube you get like a short film from a really massive, like a canon short film from a really massive franchise. So that'll be cool.
I'm really excited to see it when it happens. I'm gonna start crying on this. But
so things that did happen from Hobbs and Shaw was the Tenet trailer. We talked about that when we shot our video last week. That's going up like right now as we record this one. So it's gonna be like a 2-day difference between these. But Tenet trailer, Christopher Nolan is being Christopher Nolan. I love that man, but I hate him right now because he wants a cinematic experience for people seeing this trailer, so you can only see it. And if you buy a ticket for Hobbs and Shaw, I bought a ticket for Hobbs and Shaw, and the stupid AMC theaters I went to didn't put it on the trailer back, so I didn't even get to see it. I had to find the leaked copy online, and I paid good money for that trailer, but that's okay.
You still watched it?
Yeah, I still watched it.
Off some shady website.
But yeah, it's interesting because as we're recording right now, it's Tuesday night after like Hobbs and Shaw came out, and we still have no like online release. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it is currently the 6th.
Yeah,
of
interesting.
August, and so we're not getting it.
But
at least not right now.
It doesn't give us a lot to look at like footage wise. It's you just have like a full 30 seconds of Washington just like looking at a shot through glass window,
looking really stressed about it too.
And so he's just staring it down like just John David Washington. He's just looking at the glass. But what's cool about like the looking at the glass bit is that as it cuts between like the different taglines and stuff, the video like rewinds, it jumps back. And so people are throwing around words like how this is supposed to be like Inception plus time travel. I don't know if I buy that from this little teaser we got, but whatever it is, it's Christopher Nolan making an action movie that plays with time.
That's our best guess.
That's gonna be great. Yeah. Like, it's gonna hurt your brain because
it's time, and I mean even time deconstructed as simple as like Endgame.
Yeah,
it's still like
it's like if you imagine like Christopher Nolan writing Terminator 2, like it's just gonna hurt your head. Yeah. And so, but I'm really excited.
It's the type of movie you go into when it's like early evening, so that way your brain isn't tired from the day and you can process everything.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing that I find that I like about it the most, like nothing really from the trailer itself that made me excited for this movie, but I'm so hyped for it because it's Christopher Nolan going back to like what he's good at. Because like Dunkirk was great, I loved Dunkirk, but it was just a World War II thriller. And obviously he did his Christopher Nolan play on like the pacing and how the time ran through that movie, but it was just a war thriller. And then before that you had Interstellar, which was fine. Yeah. It's not like amazing. And then you had The Dark Knight Rises before that, which was like not so good. It's like it's fine. And so like I think Tenet, the vibe I'm getting from it is reminding me of Inception. It's reminding me of The Prestige. It's reminding me of Memento. Like he's going back to what he's good at. Is just like he's taking an action movie. It's talked about how it's like an espionage movie, but then he's playing with something that is a fun, clever idea. So like with Inception, it was dreams. With The Prestige, it was like cloning people, and with Tenet, it's just gonna be time. So I'm really excited.
And one thing that Christopher Nolan that you kind of mentioned always plays with is the pacing of his movies and kind of the chronological order of his movies. Yeah. So the fact that he's making a movie about time itself, I can already imagine the the chronological scale of that movie and the order in which events take place is going to be like.
Yeah. Well, he's already started a movie with an ending. He did that in Inception. He started it with the last shot. Yeah. So like, or not the last shot, but the last bit on the beach.
The last scene.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So excited for Tenet. It's a year out. Like, this doesn't come out.
It's an
until
early
July of
trailer,
2020.
yeah.
So it's exciting. That's probably why we haven't gotten an online release, because it's donkey's years away. But exciting stuff.
Next
D23.
Up, yeah, next up we get some of the D23 stuff. It's still going now, so we'll probably be getting even more really soon. But we are getting reboots of Home Alone, which is an interesting choice. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which is an even more interesting choice. And Night at the Museum. And Night at the Museum is probably the best thing to be rebooted out of those three. Not because the movie wasn't good, because I think that movie's really fun, but because there's probably the most to play with there that isn't the exact same.
Yeah.
And not to mention it has a T-Rex, so I'm already kind of biased.
I think what is fun about this is that it's like, whoa, Disney's like playing with these other properties they've got. Because we talk so much about X-Men and Fantastic Four and things like that. But like...
And we'll even talk about them next.
Yeah. But that Disney is playing with these other franchises and these movie rights that they have. And these are going to be Disney Plus, so this isn't even going to like get a theater thing. And Night at the Museum, fair enough. And like... Diary of a Wimpy Kid, fair enough. But
sure.
But I was kind of butthurt with the Home Alone thing. I was like, don't touch that. Like when we talked about with the Top Gun trailer, how Top Gun was not the thing that needs to come back. I never once thought in my brain, you know, it'd be great a Home Alone reboot, right?
I don't think anyone did. I think that this was Disney scrolling through their properties and some sleaze in the chair like was just sitting there like,
we can make another Home Alone.
And all of a sudden, we own that, and then that Home Alone came back.
Yeah,
so it was like
it's been over 20 years since
the last time they had him wasn't Donald Trump in it. So
yeah, that's right.
So maybe at that point that's a franchise that should stay dead.
Man, I know. I want a Trundle Dump cameo in this new one.
Trundle Dump. Okay, next up.
Yeah, so more D23. So Bob Iger kind of just had like a. It was weird because it wasn't like official panel because we're technically not official D23 panels yet. But during the event in prep for the event, people have been asking Bob Iger a lot of questions about the 20th Century Fox merger. And one of the things that he said is in passing remark. It was only one sentence, but it's a pretty big deal. Is he says that Kevin Feige and the Marvel Studios has complete creative control over all the Fox properties.
So it's an official ownership.
Like it is official ownership because we talked about like. I know, obviously, the plans talked about at Comic-Con about bringing them into the MCU and things like that, but we weren't quite sure where that all stood with Deadpool especially and all these other properties, but it is like...
Deadpool is...
Kevin Feige has complete control.
Yeah.
He is the mastermind of all of this now.
And pretty soon, we're probably going to see them start filtering in within the next couple years.
Yeah.
And... Deadpool, since he's the only one with an actor still, is probably going to be the first one to filter in. Ryan Reynolds is staying on, which praise be. That man has made Deadpool. But so.
And as well, speaking about our 20th Century Fox X-Men properties, we wanted to have a short, maybe not a moment of silence, but an obituary.
Sort of an acknowledgement of the death of the New Mutants.
On August the 2nd this week, we were supposed to have the premiere, get the full movie that was finished. They filmed the entire thing. We got trailers for it.
Oh, we got trailers for it, like...
was supposed to release on August the 2nd, 2019, this past week. And so we just wanted to...
Go outside, pour one out for it.
Yeah.
Even though you probably have not thought about that movie since you were seated in a theater where the trailer played.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so we now have a new segment that we're coming out with that we're calling Weekly Top 3 Clickbait Articles That You Have to Hear to Believe. And this is basically going to be not clickbait, safe for work. But this is basically going to be something pretty fun that we do where we find the 3 just absolute stupidest, wonkiest, funniest clickbait articles that we can find over the course of the past week. And we read them off. And you get to...
Because we know these social media platforms that put out movie news and you follow
need
them.
filler.
You follow
half
them
the time.
because the news you're gonna get, you get a big bit of news every 2 or 3 days, and so they need to find stuff so that they can be posting
filling
like
every
hourly
day to stay relevant.
to stay relevant. And so the kind of garbage we get.
And
so this is just
the best part is half the time they don't even answer what they're talking about. The answer is basically we don't know. Like they'll be like, what can we expect from this? And the answer is like, we don't know because that movie hasn't been released yet.
But they get you to click on it.
But they get you to click on it. Or it'll be like, this director says this, and that's not really what they said. They said something that can be misphrased as that. And so, but we'll even stay away from those. We just go for the really weird stuff.
Okay.
And so, do you want to kick us off with our first
I will.
one?
So, first bit of clickbait, you have to see to believe. Police not called. Not safe for work. Not clickbait. Okay, here we go. So, Avengers Endgame writer confirms that Black Widow's sacrifice erased the blonde in her hair. That one's painful because I've been so sick.
You just know that dude made a joke. He just was in an interview, and you just know he just said, he was like, yeah, her sacrifice is what made her hair go red. And they were like, and some news website was just like, that is a whole
Just some
715 word article right there.
Well, and I've been so sick of all these Avengers Endgame posts because it came out on digital. But the movie, it's done. It's over. Let's move on. And these...
And we liked Endgame, for the record. We really liked Endgame.
These same groups post a post about the Avengers Endgame writers confirming some bullcrap. Like
every day, when really they're just interviewing these people.
Day.
These poor people, because I'll bet even they're sick of it at this point. They're like, we made a movie, we're making jokes about it, and you're writing like multi-hundred word articles about it.
But yeah, so it's canon now. So Black Widow's sacrifice made the rest of her hair red because, you know, you had that little bit of blonde from Infinity War left over. But
sure.
All right.
Next up. Boy. Disney trying to put a stop to unauthorized Avengers-themed bulletproof backpacks. This article's sad. It's really sad because it's built off the backs of school shootings, but at the same time, the fact that some bulletproof backpack website thought that it would be a good idea to slap the Avengers on their promo art and stuff and slap it on their merch.
Their bulletproof backpack.
Yeah. They were like, you too can have a backpack made of the material of T'Challa's suit. Which is...
Oh, what the, like, this whole bulletproof... Like, why does that warrant an article on a movie news website?
Okay. I mean, this is just a lose-lose situation. So we'll go to the next one.
Okay, this was probably from BuzzFeed. Maybe
Probably.
not. Probably BuzzFeed.
No, this one was Screen Rant.
Screen Rant back. Okay, Screen Rant. That was a Screen Rant one. Okay,
Yep.
The Hogwarts houses of Kristen Stewart characters.
Surprise, surprise! They're all Ravenclaw. Just kidding.
I love the internet. So,
it's truly a holy place.
So I'm after we were able to get past all this wonderful news, I'm glad we were able to share with you some of the real news that's going around the internet right now. And if you see something like this, please give it a click, give it a view.
Yeah, because we're trying to actually put out this stuff. We need it to
keep coming.
We're not gonna put on a video that says, you know, top 10 reasons why Black Widow should have stayed blonde in Endgame and stuff.
We should. That would be well good. So, actually, I forgot a quick bit of news, and this comes from one of these clickbaity sources, but it was a clickbaity thingy I was really happy to read. So, Joker had its premiere at the Toronto and Venice film festivals this week, and reactions coming out of it are saying
largely
positive, and saying don't just not just we think that it's going to be getting nominations, but you should expect Joaquin Phoenix to get a Best Actor nomination,
which is awesome.
That it will be a snub if he doesn't. So that's pretty exciting. I think it's not going to be what people expect it to be. It's not going to be a comic book movie at all, but it looks great. So,
it does look great.
Super excited for that. But hey, that's our news for the week. So we're going to be moving on to
our review of Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw. The Fast and the Furious presents
Hobbs and Shaw. The Fast and the Furious presents longest title ever.
So, Hobbs and Shaw review.
Okay, so for this review, we wanted to, as we start to get into kind of the bigger franchise movies, this is our first one that isn't a classic film that people have already seen. We wanted to kind of go into... We want to give you a review without just spoiling the movie for you. So for the first 5 to 10 minutes, we're actually going to talk about the movie spoiler free and just give a general review. I mean, it's a review, so if you're sensitive to like basic details and the basic gist of the movie and that kind of stuff, still maybe close out, watch the movie, and come back. But if you're fine just hearing the plot synopsis, then that's kind of what we're going for. And then we'll actually give a spoiler warning and let everyone know let you guys know when we're ready to start delving into the specifics of the movie, and then it's not safe after that. And Hobbs and Shaw, shockingly, does have quite a few moments that can be spoiled. Yeah. It has quite a few surprises and just fun things that pop up and little twists that you might want to see in the movie first.
A lot more enjoyable seeing in the movie
as a surprise for sure. Yeah, because I know I was surprised, and it it almost sets the tone for the movie because some of them are earlier on and all that stuff.
Yeah. So Hobbs and Shaw, the Fast and the Furious presents the Hobbs and Shaw one where they fight and argue, except for when they don't fight
until the very end of the movie.
But all joking aside, because I know a lot of people before this came out as like, this looks like garbage. It's great. Yeah. It's a very pleasant surprise. Like, as like a summer movie blockbuster, this movie
excels.
It ticks all the boxes. It's real good.
So we actually have
pick a door.
Reshooting.
All right then. No, that's my door. Pick another door. What's wrong with you?
I think is a good description for this.
You know what?
movie.
You were right. This is your door. What's the matter? You got a lot of bad guys behind that door?
Experience type movie. It's. I'm not saying that it's a dumb fun blockbuster or anything, because it's not dumb. It's not. It is kind of ridiculous and out there, but it's not.
It's interesting enough to keep you engaged.
Exactly, and it still has realistic. But it's
access granted.
It's just the type of movie that
access denied.
Have a good time.
Access denied.
Go in, sit with your
access denied.
Friends. You enjoy family. You grab some sodas.
Luke Hobbs and Dark Shaw.
And you walk out.
Unfinished
and
business.
Talk about your favorite parts of the movie. You all joke about it. Stuff like that. It's the type of movie that you walk out talking about and having a good time. Yeah, it's just a really fun movie. And I think to some extent, that's kind of what movies are about, is kind of showing us the stuff that we can't really see in our
sister
lives.
Took something from me. A virus that could wipe out half the population.
It kind of, I think this movie also, like, your experience watching it will come from like your expectations of it, because if you go in expecting just fun action, cool cool actors, good performances from those actors,
funny dialogue,
like good laughs, like
big action set pieces,
big action, some fun surprises, things that you weren't expecting. It really does. It checks all the boxes.
It really does.
It just fits your summer blockbuster like perfectly. And obviously, it's not perfect. Like, there are some pretty ridiculous moments in the movie, but I think that's kind of what adds to what it is.
Yeah. And it almost is self-indulgent in them. Like, it knows exactly what it is. And, I mean, I don't even like to say our jokes about, them fighting and bickering a lot are a criticism, because that's one of the best parts of the movie, is the chemistry between Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. They just have, even though they are...
And I want it back. You gonna tell me just what we're dealing with here?
It's my sister. Family business.
When it's the fate of...
And it's just a lot of fun. And one of the things that the movie does best that isn't really spoilery to talk about is kind of showing... And I really like this. This is one of the first... They did it in a really... Without just directly saying it, they did it in a really kind of subtle way, but still a way that you acknowledge. Is comparing and contrasting how, even though Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson are both play very similar roles in movies, they are very opposite types of action heroes. The Rock is kind of just this powerhouse who just like throws dudes through walls and stuff like that. Jason Statham is more like of a he fights with like style.
He's
and
a tactical genius.
Exactly. And I mean, you described it as like Superman versus Batman kind of.
Yeah.
And that's a really good way to put it. He's Jason. They're both like equally intimidating and are just as equally likely to take you out like that, but it's just very different ways. And I thought that kind of contrast was really cool and really interesting.
Yeah. What I think is really fun about this movie as well is that, like, we joke about that ridiculously long title where it says Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. But what's cool is this is still like a Fast and the Furious movie. Mm-hmm. That it very much feels like it, because obviously we've seen kind of a departure from your Tokyo Drift kind of thing since in the recent Fast and Furious movies. It's very military heavy and world-ending stakes. But what's great about Hobbs and Shaw is that it's not just like your military action thriller, like your generic Bruce Willis, like Die Hard, Live Free,
on wheels thing.
But you have some really great things that you're like, that's definitely in a Fast and the Furious movie.
For sure, yeah. It has the best parts of the Fast and Furious movies as of recent and kind of moves away from the worst parts. Mm-hmm. Like, I definitely can feel them kind of moving with a learning curve here.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And so going back to our rating system, we kind of forgot it last week, but I mean, those are our favorite movies of all time. So it's not like we're going to say
it becomes my business
Park or don't watch Inception.
It's not worth your time.
Yeah. But, I mean, we're going to say, I think we both agreed that it was worth a watch.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely worth a watch. Like, I think we keep coming back to that, but when we're like, without getting into details about what happens in the movie, if you're wanting a fun summer blockbuster, like just something that you and your mates can go watch and have a good time, this is like perfect. It is perfect. Like, you're just gonna have a great time.
It's so worth just the ticket price. I mean, it's so worth it's worth 2 hours of your time. It's worth the $8 for a ticket.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's the type of movie where like you walk into the theater and you're like, oh, it's playing. Oh, Hobbs and Shaw. It's the movie that you want to go see. You know what I mean? So. But on that note, we are moving into spoiler territory. So go ahead. If you haven't seen it yet, we still want your watch minutes. So just go watch it immediately and then come back and finish our video. So, but we are going to spoiler territory. So spoiler alert, from here on out, waters aren't safe.
Yeah. So spoilery stuff.
You were talking about the one thing that you didn't really.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So when we talk about like the movie itself, it's a really fun romp. It's really I would say it's quite good, but I think there's one kind of like big gaping flaw in the movie, and it's just kind of like the pacing of it. And you'll understand what I mean. You probably have watched it if you're watching this point, but if you haven't, that the movie runs through your first act, your second act, like you're building action, and you get to this big action set piece in Ukraine where you have this really long, like drawn out, this is how we're going to solve the problem. Really huge set piece with some really great moments. And then like it ends and you're like, okay, like that's the movie. And then they're like, no, wait, we've still got 45 more minutes and another action set piece and another third act for you.
Yeah.
We've got climax number 2 for you. And so it's not like it's a bad thing, because I think if they had ended it after the first climax, I kind of would have been too like,
short. Yeah.
But I think because of that, the pacing feels weird. Like
it's almost jarring.
It's
like,
disorienting.
It's almost like because you almost go, oh, it's over already, but they didn't wrap this up, and then they're like, actually, here's where we're going to Samoa, and it's like, oh, the movie's longer. Gotcha.
Yeah. And because of the pace of that, you have like this whole time building up to them getting the machine. Like that's the whole plan of the movie, is them getting this machine to get the virus out of her. And they build up to that.
And the set piece is literally exists to not only get the machine, but then immediately break it. So, and that's
so all of your momentum in the movie just like
hits a dead stop.
Sorry. And so it comes to a complete halt, and you're just like, that's why it's disorienting.
Yeah.
So you're like, wait a minute, like why are we like boring talky stuff? Like that was. and then you get more of the actiony stuff, and I'd say the ending you get
is better
is
of the
better
two.
of the two.
It definitely wraps everything up a lot better than the first one, and because it's the intended ending, but and it's.
We're going for a ride! Woo!
The ending we do get is really cool.
Yeah.
But now on to the real highlight of the
real
movie.
good stuff.
The real good stuff.
Deadpool.
Yes. The man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Reynolds is in it. My favorite actor. And I mean, that immediately put me in a good mood for that movie. So maybe a little bit of bias there, but oh my God, he's so good. Like, as soon as you just hear Luke Rebecca Hobbs in his, like, signature voice, I like, froze, and I was like, is that? And all of a sudden it pans around, and it's him. And I was just like, this movie just became 10 times better than what it even already was.
What's so great about it is it's a surprise as well. You
It's
didn't
such a
know he's gonna
surprise.
be there.
No,
Yeah.
he's not credited
Yeah.
in the movie at all. Ryan Reynolds hasn't talked about it at all. And like, it's a complete
So
surprise.
it's real fun
And so-
having him there. It's,
yeah,
it's,
and
yeah.
I mean, everything he does is seriously hilarious. I don't think there was one joke that he said that didn't make me laugh.
it didn't land. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, as soon as he tries to affirm that he's best friends with Dwayne Johnson, and Hobbs is like, we're not best friends, and he pulls out the locket that's a half heart that says best friend on it, but cut in half, and he goes, then why do I have this? And Dwayne Johnson just goes, I don't know, actually. And then he asks why he has the matching tattoos, and he pulls out a matching Samoan pec tattoo for Dwayne Johnson. Honestly, he even jokes about stabbing someone with a brick a lot, and then he does it, and
That was my favorite
just
bit.
so
that was
funny.
my favorite bit. Was that bit with the brick?
One of my favorites was when he, in the after credit scene, when he's talking to Hobbs's daughter, and he goes, it's like listening to a mirror, and saying that his daughter sounds identical to him. And then all of a sudden Dwayne Johnson gets on the phone and he goes, I'm on. And he goes, I know, sweetie, but I need to talk to Hobbs. Dude, I lost it. He's so funny.
Yeah.
And he, like, seriously, every time he's in the movie, it's a delight. He genuinely might be one of the best parts of the movie. And that's not slandering the other parts of the movie, because they're all funny. They're all epic and stuff like that. It's all around a really fun and really good movie. But Ryan Reynolds is just a god tier person, and he just makes everything better. And so his presence was super welcome. As for the other cameo,
Kevin Hart shows up. It's fine. It's nothing. The Ryan Reynolds one was special. The Kevin Hart cameo is nothing special.
The Kevin Hart cameo almost didn't super surprise me. Like, when I was like, oh, that's Kevin Hart. But it wasn't like Ryan Reynolds where I was like, it's him, you know? And so, and I have the biggest man crush on Ryan Reynolds. But I mean, I think he's a fun enough person. I think he's pretty funny. I know you don't really care for him, but
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. I mean Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Oh no, I hate Kevin Hart.
but I think the reason it's less special is because Ryan Reynolds has kind of developed this.
Well, all right.
And so now when he is himself and stuff like that, it's almost the closest we get to like a stand-up of Ryan Reynolds and stuff like that, because he's such a naturally funny person, and the closest we get is really Deadpool. So seeing him kind of do that again, he's just hilarious. He has some of the best comedic timing I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, because it's the same director who did Deadpool too, so he
and
definitely
he
was just like, do Deadpool again.
I mean, he even says go, just like in the first Deadpool. But Kevin Hart, we've kind of mostly seen him as Kevin Hart. And so I mean, like, one of his most enjoyable characters for me was actually Jumanji, because I felt like that was one of the movies where he departed from his usual stuff. And that's why I'm so excited to actually see him in Jumanji 2, because it's going to be like very non-Kevin Hart.
Very much so.
And so I think that's going to be, and so that's going to be pretty fun. And so I actually like Kevin Hart. I like his stand-up. I've watched his stand-up on Netflix and stuff. But I just like, it almost makes it happier and more of a surprise when you either have kind of shown a diverse range so that you're not as used to the usual self, and it's kind of a treat to get that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kevin Hart, it was kind of like, oh, Kevin Hart, because he's Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
So, but then another thing I think we for sure want to circle back to is the actual final fight.
Yeah.
First we get like the awesome scene, which is it
is good,
ridiculous, but it's also incredibly cool. Of the cars all attaching to each other to weigh down the helicopter as it's trying to fly away with Vanessa Kirby's character. Who, by the way, Vanessa Kirby does an awesome job. She's another really good part of the movie. There's not necessarily a bad part, I don't think.
No. But then you've got that spectacular moment when Dwayne Johnson strengths Captain America and Captain America Civil War because Captain America unsuccessfully he can't pull the helicopter back in. Helicopter gets away, but in this one, The Rock just no problem.
Base level Rock
just pulls a helicopter in and hooks it back up to the truck.
Yeah, all it requires is Jason Statham looking in the rearview mirror and going, "I got you, Hobbs," and then slowing down a little bit, and then he's like,
he's got it.
Puts it back. And honestly, I believe it. The Rock is a peak human specimen. He's probably stronger than Captain America.
Probably. But yeah, and so the final fight, like that bit where it was the slow-mo...
I'll take a hit so that you can land a hit.
Yeah.
Which is... I mean, alright, that's a pretty cool concept by itself, where they have to choreograph with each other during the fight, just to make sure they can land the best hit they can.
Yeah.
And the slow-mo during it, as you were about to go into, is...
The slow-mo is like... So, the last time I've seen slow-mo this good in a big-budget Hollywood movie is in the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes. That it was slow-mo done exactly how it should be done because we see slow motion
take everything in.
Yeah, because we see slow motion so often, and this movie actually uses it what it's for.
Yeah, absolutely. So that you can really take everything in and really kind of marinate in it. And I think that's what makes the fight so satisfying is because Idris Elba's character has just trashed him the entire movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I never thought I'd see a movie where Jason Statham and The Rock just
get the crap beat out of them.
Yeah, just get curb stomped the whole movie, and so it's almost frustrating because it's like hit him, you know, and so all of a sudden seeing him just hit him so hard that he's on his back writhing in pain, you know, stuff like that. It was just really satisfying.
Yeah, each bit where it slows down, you see
and you get
so
to see him hit
satisfying.
Jason Statham or The Rock, and then the other one is behind him and they boomed on the head or whatever. It's just so cool,
so satisfying. So
and then
it ends really great.
It really does end great. I mean, it's probably the best action scene in the movie, and which is good for an action movie to have its final set piece be the most satisfying and be the most fun part of the movie.
Absolutely.
But and then when it comes to the dialogue, I actually really liked the dialogue for the most part. I thought The Rock and Jason Statham had really good chemistry and razzed on each other really well in kind of their own unique way. It wasn't, regular we don't really like each other. It kind of had this unique natural feel to it. There were only 2 bits of dialogue that I was kind of like, did you guys actually just say that? And the first is when talking about Dwayne Johnson hooking up with Jason Statham's sister, played by Vanessa Kirby. Dwayne Johnson says, "Do you really think I want to do the horizontal hula sexy time with your sister?" And I was like, oh my god. That movie just went like that. And because it's the longest, most unnecessary, stupid way to describe sex I've ever heard in my life. And then after that, which we've heard in a couple other internet outlets, is Idris Elba's villain, who is otherwise really cool and intimidating in the movie, going, genocide, schmenocide. I was like, oh.
I actually really liked that line. I
think it kind of works for the character, but it by itself is just a weird line. Yeah. And so
it's a bad line, but it's so bad that I really liked it.
Genocide,
and it's not like the horizontal hula line. It's a really long line that the movie focuses on. Genocide, schmenocide is at least just in passing. He's just oh, you want to commit genocide? And then Idris Elba's genocide, schmenocide, and it's And so it was kind of, I just was like, did he just say genocide schmenocide? And so it was, I mean, it wasn't the best line, but I did kind of feel like it works for the character just because that is kind of his whole thing, is like he doesn't really care about human life.
Yeah.
He does, but like in the way that he wants to improve
upon it.
And so to him, the genocide is the right thing to do. So I mean, I think they were going for, it's like not a syntax that means anything to him. Like that word doesn't really mean anything, but I mean, it's still genocide schmenocide, which is just objectively bad. And so,
but past the really bad line, like overall, Hobbs and Shaw, like it's good. It's just good. It's really fun. It's really funny. There's a lot of really great action set pieces. The pacing's really weird, but most people aren't even going to be bothered with that. So if you're just like,
and it's not something you really walk out of the theater.
Yeah, no.
About.
If you're just in for a casual, fun movie going experience, like
for sure,
so great.
You got $5 Tuesdays in your state at your theaters. Perfect. Go see it.
That is like, it's definitely doing.
Yeah, and so it's a spectacle movie. It's the type of movie where you get to watch all this cool action and action choreography and fun actors that you know and love just kind of make fun of each other and stuff. It's just a fun movie. Plus, it's got Ryan Reynolds, support him. He's got millions of dollars, but still give him more. It is great, and I think that I think that, like we said, it's for sure worth the watch. And I mean, we enjoyed it. I walked out in just a really good mood, and then I realized that Battle at Big Mouth did not play before it, and then I was really depressed. But before that, I was in a really good mood, and I had a lot of fun with it. And we think you guys will too.
Yeah, so definitely give it a check.
Yeah, thanks for going with us beyond the cinema.
Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. We'll be back.
And make sure, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to us if you want to see more. Click the little notification bell, all that stuff. And if you guys have any ideas for new segments or whatever that you want us to add, if you want us to, on the slower movie weeks, review a movie, and you have suggestions for that, if you just have anything that you guys want to suggest or whatever, feel free to leave a comment as well. We'll be reading through them. And we really just want to thank you so much for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you next week when we're talking about scary stories to tell in the dark and Dora and the Lost City of Gold. So the thing about Dora is that we are seeing that separate. We're not seeing that together like we usually do. And so he knows he's going because his family is going.
I'm seeing it this Saturday.
I am not. And so if it's bad, that means I'm going to be forced to watch it. So yes, Dora and the Lost City of Gold.
Do you see that camera? This is your life now. So we'll look forward to talking about that next week. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Have a good one.